This is Designated X, a channel dedicated to bringing the very best of the unexplained. And we are back again with an odd, unexplained, and hair-raising account of the unnatural. Real quickly before I start though, if you could please hit that like and subscribe button and share this post on social media or with any like-minded individuals, it sure would help a lot and I definitely appreciate it. Thank you all. Alright, let's get going.
Are you familiar with the so-called X-Files?
I believe they have to do with unexplained phenomena.
More or less.
Convention and science offer us no answers. Might we not finally turn to the fantastic as a plausibility?
Logically, I would have to say no.
This witness, located in Spartansburg, South Carolina, preferred to stay anonymous, but recounts a sighting he had with an alleged Bigfoot. The witness states that he was confronted by an 8.5-foot Bigfoot while preparing to go duck hunting in Sumter National Forest in November of 2015. It was approximately 5 a.m. in the morning and still dark. The witness was removing his hunting equipment from the trunk of his vehicle. His back was towards the trail. This is when he heard a low, guttural, growling sound emanating from behind him. As he stood up straight and turned, he noticed a tall, dark mass standing on the trail. Grabbing his flashlight, he observed what he described as an 8.5-foot, hairy human-like being. The witness referred to the creature as a, quote, Bigfoot. As he stood facing the creature, the being looked directly at him and began growling. He was less than 50 feet from the creature. The witness had his shotgun with him, but realized that birdshot would probably not offer much protection. Fortunately, the Bigfoot slowly turned and walked back into the swampy area of the forest. When asked if he noticed any odor, the witness stated that he hadn't, but goes on to add that he has been searching for Bigfoot since the encounter and that he has been told of other encounters in the area. So this next encounter was reported by a witness who goes by the initials JB on Saturday, July 21st of 2018. The witness and his 13-year-old son were returning home from fishing at Bennett's Pay Lake in Bullitt County, Kentucky, where 24-hour fishing is permitted. It was approximately 10:30 p.m. on Friday, July 20th. They were driving in their pickup and had just turned onto Highway 44. As he did so, the witness's son yelled out that something large and on two legs was running alongside of the truck on the passenger side. Whatever it was keeping pace with the truck and was about 30 feet off the road in a field. When they reached the nearest driveway, JB slammed on the brakes and turned the truck around, attempting to drive back and see whatever it was his son had described. As they started to head back on the highway, a large, hairy, bipedal creature stepped out of a wooded gully along the road and stood in front of the truck. It was illuminated by the headlights, approximately 10 feet away from the witnesses. They immediately noticed an awful, sickening stench in the air, described as smelling a lot like old roadkill. The creature was said to be 8 to 9 feet in height and very broad at the shoulders, possibly 5 feet in width. The body was covered in reddish-brown, thick hair, though the face was hairless with dark leathery skin. The body had well-defined muscles that were observed moving under the hair, and the eyes shined with a red tint. It had a menacing look and disposition and emanated low, whooping sounds similar to grunts. The witness always carried a sidearm with him, and he reached for it. As he extended the gun out the window and yelled for the creature to stay away, the creature acted as if it recognized the gun and immediately became alarmed, producing louder whooping sounds and taking a more aggressive stance while leering directly at the witness. By this time, his son was terrified and started to scream. He then fired a warning shot above the creature, and it quickly headed off into the nearby woods. Fearing it would come back from behind them and attack, JB slammed on the accelerator and quickly turned the truck around, speeding down the highway towards home. His residence was less than half a mile from the location of the incident. A few hours later, the witness filed a report over the phone to Phantoms and Monsters. Lon goes on to say this about the witness. Quite honestly, he was one of the most terrified witnesses I have ever talked to, exclaiming that he had no idea what the thing was and that he grew up in the outdoors, never witnessing anything like that before. I could hear the phone rattling in his hands and his voice continuously breaking. He said, "I'm never going fishing or hunting again." The witness then mentioned an incident that his neighbor had experienced. Apparently, a large creature had been visiting the neighbor's yard previous summer and had triggered the motion detectors. The neighbor had caught a fleeting glance of the creature as it exited towards the woods, but the description was not of being comparable in size. The location of this encounter was in an area just south of Louisville, Kentucky. This next encounter was reported by Alan out of Dayton, Ohio. Back in the day, when I was a younger man, I was driving a truck down in Georgia and I picked up a load of mulch. I'm going down this 2-lane road and I don't remember the exact area. I remember looking at my atlas as I was driving. It was above Jacksonville, Florida, but on the Georgia side, and there was some kind of national park there with an Indian name, Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge. But as I'm driving, I saw what I thought was a bear or something getting ready to cross the road. I'd never seen anything like that because I'm from Ohio. I'd been staring at the ditch line because I was looking at a forest, planted forest. I'd never seen them before. All pine trees symmetrically lined up and everything. So I see this bear start to come out across the ditch and cross the road. I start covering my brake and I think to myself, oh my God, I'm gonna hit a bear. And it turned and looked at me. Its face was flat, and it didn't have the big nose like a bear does. And I was like, whoa, what the heck is that? Didn't look big and heavy like everyone describes it. It looked big and hunched over, just like a Bigfoot, but it looked skinny, like it had really long hair, but it was skinny. The thing that ties into this dimensional thing for me, and I had this thought before I ever heard anybody talking about it, is it looked at me in the truck, and then it turned its head, and like a streak of lightning, it went back into the woods from where it came. All the trunks on the trees didn't really have branches on the low levels, so I'm watching it, looking, trying to see it run through the woods, to make sure I've seen what I saw, and it just vanished. It just vanished. At this point, the interview asked if it was like it went into a porthole, to which the witness replied, exactly. And there's no way. These trees weren't full grown. They were maybe 6 to 8 inches trunk diameter, and everything was in a perfect line. There's absolutely no way it could have hid behind a tree. It just turned like a streak of lightning. I saw it running about 10 feet, and then it was gone. Just vanished. So I pulled over to the side, rubbing my eyes, thinking to myself, I've been on the road too long. But all these years later, I keep hearing everybody talking about the dimensional thing and that it's perfect with, never finding the body and all that kind of stuff. And this was from a caller who called in to Coast AM on January 12th of 2018. If anybody thought that they were going crazy because they heard chirping in the background, my bad, those are my pet cockatiels. They make a ruckus and they hang out in the office where I record. And there you have it, 3 Bigfoot encounters. It always fascinates me when people say that a Bigfoot, Dogman, any cryptid really recognizes what a firearm is, because that implies they have higher thinking and intelligence. And I don't really know what to think about the spiritual Bigfoot, meaning that it's a spirit creature. It's just there's so many witnesses that describe it doing something odd or around UFOs, like you just heard, disappearing. But I know that when I got into Bigfoot, it was because I believed it existed as a purely physical creature and it made sense to me. But as always, who am I to say what does and doesn't exist, especially since these people definitely believe that they saw something. As always, let me know what you think down below. If you have an account or personal encounter of anything odd and unexplained, whether it be ghostly visitors, a sinister stranger, cryptid or unknown entity encounters, demonic or angelic visitation, extraterrestrial contact, or anything else unexplained, feel free to contact me with your account by sending an email to designatedxshow@gmail.com. See you in the next one. Peace.